That's dope.
Yes, sir. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm your host, Afro, and with me, I got my boy, Lord Fish. And then we got a new addition to the team, an old friend, El Sucio. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
I'm doing good. I'm excited for the episode. You know, we got a new guy in here. Comes highly recommended, so I'm excited.
Yeah. El Sucio is going to be our go-to baseball expert for this one. Even though he's a sad Yankees fan, you know, he somehow knows somewhat about baseball, besides not to pick that team.
I'm not rocking my Yankees. I want to be.
I know. Look at that. He's wearing a pirate shirt.
I'm wearing the Puerto Rican King of Swing today, so at least I could be respected somewhat. You know what I mean?
Is it because they're playing so bad right now?
Honestly, if we could put 2 seconds on that, yeah, I'm about to throw a fucking grenade in there.
Don't worry, we're gonna end the show today on baseball. But as of right now, we're gonna jump right into the NBA. We're gonna talk about the Final Four. So right now we have the Suns versus the Clippers and the Bucks versus the Hawks. The Suns swept the MVP-led Nuggets to get to the finals in the Western Conference. The Clippers won in 6 against Utah without Kawhi. The Bucks won in OT against Game 7 with KD and the Nets. And then the Hawks won in Game 7 against the 76ers. Very entertaining playoffs so far, especially without LeBron James, Steph Curry. You know, it breaks my heart Curry's not in there. But the numbers are up. The games are fire, and I'm enjoying the shit out of this. What do you guys think about what we saw so far from those games going into the conference finals? Susie, I'll start with you, man. What do you think?
Well, here's my thing. You're right in where it is exciting. It's different. I'm excited more because of the simple fact that you had already a Goliath. You already had a pre-known thought of, hey, it's going to be LA, it's going to be the Nets. And they're not even in it. They're not even
it's a beautiful thing, man.
They were the most disappointing part of it all. The only thing I could personally say is that I wish the Bucks weren't in it, but everybody else that's in there should be there and deserves to be there.
Wait, hold on. So why the hate for the Bucks, bro?
What's that?
Why the hate on the Bucks? I've been hearing that a lot from a lot of people. A lot of people are upset the Bucks are still in this.
So here's the thing. I like the Bucks as a team. I think they're really well coached. I think they're well put together as an organization. I can't stand Giannis. I can't stand the Greek Freak. He's a one-dimensional player, in my opinion. I know he gets rebounds and he defends, but I look at him and say he's a bully on the street. He's the biggest guy around. He has one move. Other than his drive and his Euro step, what else does he have?
Hey, man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
True. And you know what? You have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar that was also a Buck, that the sky hook, it made him famous. It was his move. I just think that, you know, if Giannis wasn't on that team, they'd still be there. I just think that a lot of people give that guy credit when they shouldn't. That's my opinion.
I hear you, man. So going back to another series, man, we're going to go right into it. You know, Paul George came up big in Game 6, you know, to win the game for the Clippers. This is the first time the Clippers have been to the Western Conference Finals. That's huge. So my first question for you guys, and Lord Fish, I'll start with you. With Kawhi's health in question, do you think Paul George and the Clippers have what it takes to win this series, especially now that they're down 2-0?
So, I mean, it's been 2 close games. Everybody saw the alley-oop last night, which pissed off everyone.
My boy Ayton, baby. I've been telling you.
Disrespectful thing. Great coaching. Jay Crowder with the pass. And Ayton went right up and over. It was beautiful. But I'm kind of shocked. Like, I knew it was going to be close, but I didn't know it was going to be that close. If Kawhi comes back, I don't see them. He's supposed to be day-to-day. So we'll see. He stayed back in LA when they went to Phoenix. So we'll see if he comes back and stuff. But Chris Paul's supposed to be back Game 3 too. But Suns have too many weapons. I can't see playoff PG. You know, I can't see him doing too much.
I agree with you. And when we made our finals predictions in past episodes, I did say I think the Clippers were going to win. But that was with a healthy Clippers team. And I have made other statements in the most recent episodes saying that the Suns are going to win this series because nobody can stop DeAndre Ayton. And who better to win the game than the big man himself with that alley-oop over Zubac? My one question, right? Kelvin, I'm not sure if you saw this. They have DeMarcus Cousins on the team. Why wasn't he on the court? Like, why didn't Tyronn Lue play this, man?
No, he wasn't.
I don't get it, bro.
He was on the court. He was actually defending Crowder. He was the big man in front of Crowder. He was
Why
the big
wasn't he in the paint? That's
it makes more sense to keep him in front of Crowder because I think it was 0.9 of seconds. All Cousins had to do was just nip that ball. The clock started. Game over. You know what I mean? Like defensively, it made sense. I think the Clippers are like on paper the better team. They look nicer, but the Suns, they have fire under them. I honestly think it would have been a completely different series if CP3 was there. If CP was there, I don't think it would have been as close of a game.
All right, so that leads me to my next question. CP3 most likely will be coming back in game 3. So if CP3 comes back, or even if Kawhi comes back, is there a guaranteed winner in this? The Clippers have already come back from being down in every series they played so far. They haven't been leading once yet. So if these guys come back, how do you see the series playing out?
So Kawhi is dominant. You can't neglect his presence on the court. But the one thing I'll say is when you look at CP, right, his whole career, any team he's ever been on, a part of a trade of, he's made that team better. He's that guy that you want in your fantasy team. So his stats eventually down the road are always consistent. So he's going to get his assists. He's going to get his 19, 20 points. But his level of knowledge and being a general on the floor, that's where it's different. Where you have Paul George and you have Kawhi that still, for some reason, can't seem to manage to say, it's your night, it's my night, it's your night, it's my night. When CP's on the floor, it's his ball, it's his team, he's running it, everybody do this. He's that second coach on the floor while the ball's running. And you can't beat that kind of leadership.
I agree with you, man. He's even leading from off the court, man. I was so happy to see him, after game 1 and even after game 2, DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker hit up Chris Paul. And it was like, yo, you see that shit, bro? Like I love the camaraderie they have, that chemistry they built, especially in just 1 year. I think that's fucking beautiful. And I'm so excited to see that. Bob, you got any comments on that, man?
So real quick, how effective do you think Kawhi is going to be coming back with that knee injury? You think he's going to be able to put up? You think he's going to be able to play the same, or he's going to be slower, fat?
So I honestly think Kawhi is done in the series. If you guys remember when he played in San Antonio, the same thing happened in the past where they're not saying anything. They're being hush hush. And I think the Clippers are doing everything they can right now to please Kawhi because next year he has a player option where he could leave. And Popovich, he's the type of coach that he'll say whatever he wants. He doesn't care who you are. Kawhi is a very private person. And right now the Clippers are respecting that privacy and they're not saying anything about what's going on. And because there's been no comments or any updates whatsoever, I really do think he's really hurt. And I don't think he's going to come back. If he does come back, I think it's going to be like a Hubble James Harden to where we're not going to get the full. And why would Kawhi come back to risk the future when they can come back and easily get back to where they just were? Then that's my thoughts on it 100%. All right, we're going to move on to the next series. This one was very entertaining. I was actually shocked and I was also upset. The 76ers, I can't believe they lost, but I understand why they lost. In 5 of the last in the 7 games Philly played against Atlanta, Ben Simmons did not attempt a single shot in the fourth quarter, only getting 19 points in the final 3 games against Atlanta. Simmons also made history with the worst free throw percentage ever recorded in the playoffs, finishing with 34% rating. The Hawks upset the Sixers in Philly. Now, the most incredible thing about this is not only did the Hawks upset Philly in Philly, they upset New York in New York. So Trae Young, John Collins, Clint Capella, these young guys, they are playing in the hardest arenas around the world and winning. And now they're playing against Milwaukee. And hold on, let me jump over to the score real quick. Right now they're losing by 4, but there's over 4 minutes left to go in the game. Mm-hmm. So Trae Young is absolutely balling. I believe he had 38 points by the end of the third quarter. I'm going to rewatch the rest of the game later on. But this guy is just putting in work. But going back to Philly, did the Hawks win against the 76ers or did Philly beat themselves in the series?
It's a little bit of both. I'll start this one off. So Trae Young has been the story. He's been the talk of the playoffs. He's the man that took the bow in Madison Square Garden. He's the guy that beat the number 1 Philadelphia 76ers, and now he's in the Eastern Conference Finals. But like you said, Ben Simmons just played like dog shit. The only normalcy about that series was Joel Embiid still dominated. He averaged 30 points, 13 rebounds a game, but it was just pathetic. As a team, they shot 60% from the free throw line, and they blew multiple 20-point leads. So they're in all reality, 76ers beat themselves.
I agree with you.
That's true.
100%. Susio, you got anything to add on that, bro?
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you guys. There's no way to really argue it. The 76ers lost that game. The Hawks, I don't really feel won that game. The 76ers lost that game. They let off the gas, and then by the time they realized that, the Hawks were just in a better motion, in a better place. The Hawks right now are a Cinderella story. The biggest credit that they have is that they took off and killed the Knicks, where the Knicks were in their own Cinderella story. And they went on, killed it. The Garden turned into the Hawks Stadium. And I just think that, unfortunately, the 76ers they have the right tools, but they're not working. They're not mashing, So right now, it's the Hawks right now can go on and do some historic stuff with bare minimal. And that's what the NBA, I think, should get back to. And it's a good look for the brand for the NBA, because when you look at all these super teams being formed and all these teams coming together and all these players coming together, when you look at the Hawks, you kind of go on and say, again, bad news bears, Cinderella story. Like, who do they have really other than Trae Young that's a wow factor?
I mean, John Collins is a beast, and then Clint Capella is one of the best centers in the league. So, but I do hear what you're saying. Offensively, those two really aren't threats. Rebounding, blocking, defense, yes. Offensively, no. So I do agree with you.
Yeah. No, I think it's the 76ers, unfortunately, lost it for themselves. And you know what? I want Ben Simmons to go to a small market, poor team to just fade away like he should have been from the beginning. No,
all right, hold on a second, because that's going to lead into my next question. We've watched the process for years. We've seen this, and now back-to-back years, or the last 3 years, they've had chances to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they just keep coming up short. So I believe it's time to now split up in Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. The real question is, who do you trade? Do you trade away Ben Simmons, the guy who is afraid to shoot, even though he's making $30 million a year?
Yeah.
Or do you trade away Joel Embiid knowing you're going to get more in return and build around Ben Simmons? Lord Fish, I'll start with you. What do you got for me,
Absolutely, man? You trade away Ben Simmons. The fans are burning his jerseys right now. Stephen A. Smith is tearing this guy apart. If they trade Joel Embiid or get rid of him, that city will burn. It's kind of upsetting because Ben Simmons, he's great defensive talent. He can guard anybody 1 through 5. He's 6'10". He's a great passer, and he just absolutely choked. But one of the biggest trades I've seen that could possibly come up is them doing a straight-up trade with Portland for C.J. McCollum.
I saw that, and I don't mind that trade. I think it works out for both teams. Damian, he's a small guy. He could shoot, but he can't rebound. You can't play defense like Ben can. And then, it also helps out Philly because they need a shooter, and CJ is definitely a baller, 100%. I actually worked out some trades on my own. I know, Lord Fish, I shared one of the trades with you, and I'm going to throw this at you guys, and I just want to hear your thoughts. El Sucio, I know this is new to you. So I actually went to ESPN's trade tool. Anybody can do this. It's really cool. And I built 2 different trades to 2 teams I think would actually benefit from this. And the trade tool told me I was right. So in my first trade, I'm a Celtics fan, so I wanted to see what the Celtics could do. So Ben Simmons is afraid to shoot. That's his biggest problem. You know who's not afraid to shoot? Marcus fucking Smart. I think Celtics could trade Marcus Smart, Tristan Thompson, and Grant Williams, and they can get in return Ben Simmons. It works out both ways. We get to unload some contracts and players we don't need anymore, and we get Ben Simmons in return. I think if you put Ben Simmons with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, it would be a historic big 3, because we don't need Ben Simmons to shoot when we have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum on the court. Also, he'll be able to stretch the floor and set up everybody for success. He's the type of player you need who could defend, rebound, block shots, do it all. And he's better at that than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. What do you guys think about that trade?
See, I like where your head's at, but why wouldn't you just get somebody like Lonzo Ball that can dish the ball, play defense, and shoot? Why would you trade?
I'm not a Lonzo fan. I'm not.
You don't have to.
I'm a Benny Boom fan guy.
You don't have to be a Lonzo fan.
Boston? What?
You don't have to be a Lonzo fan.
Yeah.
So why? Yeah. Why would you trade all that?
I don't think it makes sense because Lonzo's still young, And not saying Ben Simmons isn't young, because Ben Simmons is young as well. He's only 25 right now. But Ben Simmons is somebody who I know can go out there and get me 10 assists and 10 rebounds a night. Lonzo, he's very inconsistent. Yeah, he's played good towards the end of the year, but Ben Simmons is consistent where we need him to be. That's defensively, doing everything, rebounding, blocking, setting up people. You had something you want to say?
Simmons, like, as you've seen, his shooting hasn't gotten better after every offseason. Like, what is this dude doing in the offseason? What is he practicing?
You know what? He's fucking Kylie Jenner and other people like that. Respect to him. The man's getting his bag, and I'm not hating on him. Once again, Ben Simmons is a point guard. And for me, I hate shooting point guards. The only shooting point guard I respect and like is fucking Steph Curry. Anytime we had like Isaiah Thomas in Boston or even Kemba Walker, Kyrie, I'm not a fan of scoring point guards, especially when they make dumb decisions. If you get Ben Simmons, I don't have to worry about that anymore. The last point guard we had in Boston that I really loved was Rondo. You know what Rondo did? He passed the ball. He played defense. That's exactly what Ben Simmons will do for us, and that's exactly what will get us back to the championship. So that's why I see Ben Simmons filling in that Rondo role and being a better version of Rondo than himself. Now, let me throw this other trade at you guys, and I think you guys might be surprised by this, but I think another team that can trade for him and be put in a winning position is the Golden State Warriors, because you're going to have Klay Thompson coming back, and you have some contracts you need to get rid of. So what the Warriors can do is they can trade away Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole, two people that can score and shoot, to Philadelphia for Ben Simmons, and then you get somebody who can come in and rebound, basically be a mini Draymond Green on the court at the same time as Draymond. Imagine having Draymond and Ben Simmons on the same court as Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. You know how scary that would fucking be? So then you still have Kelly Oubre to come off the bench.
So that probably makes the most sense. Honestly, now that I think about it, now that you're breaking it down, it makes the most sense. But I don't think it makes sense for the reasons you think. So this is what I look at, right? You want a facilitator with Tatum because he is the second coming of Kobe. I'm putting it out there. I'm putting that one for
It's true.
But look at this. You can't take a kid that's a head case that doesn't want to play hard, doesn't want to work hard, and put him in one of the hardest cities to play for.
Hold on a second. Okay? I don't want to cut you off, but I also don't want to discredit Ben Simmons for what he did. He just finished second in MVP in Defensive Player of the Year voting.
Oh no!
So the guy plays hard. The way we love Marcus Smart. He's a better version of Marcus Smart. He's just afraid to shoot.
He's again. I'm not taking anything away from him, but what I am saying, based on what his history is and what he's done, you know what I'm saying. When you look at it, putting him in a market like Boston, you have to have a certain grit and a certain kind of fortitude to play in the city of Boston. You know what I mean? This is the city that will spit at a child because they're wearing a Yankees jersey. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying, but Philly is also another one of those hard markets that it's difficult to play for. We all know how rowdy those Philadelphia Eagles fans are, the Flyers fans, the Phillies fans. It's a wild ass city, bro.
I just think that, based on how you put it with Golden State, he's better off in Golden State because of all the attributes that he has, right? Being a defensive player, going on and having a really high stat in the MVP. He can almost be like a 6-man, but starting, right?
Yeah.
At Golden State, because when it comes down to it, when you look at the stature of everybody at Golden State, you have 4 people ahead of him. So he's not that guy. He's able to just kind of play in the background, play in the shadow, but still be the person and the player that he is, and where you go on and you look at Boston, we need someone, and I'm going to agree with Fish, where Lonzo to me is a crazy idea because he likes the drama. He's a hell of a passer. You have Tatum and you have all these other players that like to run the ball. Lonzo could be that runner.
His shot is right. A lot better. If he plays like he did in the second half of the year, I think that would be a great move.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy, I think he's the second coming of Rondo with the fact that he can actually shoot a 3,
I agree with you. All right, man. I'm going to move on to the next topic. We got the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis and Middleton battled to the very end, winning in overtime against KD and the Nets in Game 7. It was a beautiful fucking game. I know we all watched it. I know we all saw the highlights. KD played some of the best basketball historically. They said he played the best playoff series ever, even though he lost. He was literally half an inch away from ending the Milwaukee Bucks season. He had nothing left in the tank, though, and he went 0 for 6 in overtime, and they sadly lost the game. So my question to you guys is right now, if KD hit the 3 to win the game, do you think they went on to win the finals? Do you guys really think the Brooklyn Nets would have won the championship this year?
Definitely. Because by that time, Kyrie kind of gets it together. You still give Harden about a week to kind of get that hamstring going. And then KD's then going to be fired up to say, I made it to the finals, which I haven't been able to do by myself. And now it's my show, my time, my town. Like if he would have, like you said, that small half inch step back and he would have killed that game and closed that game, it would have set him off to the stratosphere. It would have been a whole different player.
I agree with you. And the shot he hit to send it to overtime was a beautiful shot. It was very entertaining, and it still hyped up the whole world. Twitter went fucking crazy. Lord Fish, what are your thoughts on this, man? You think they would have won?
So I'm going to start this out and say KD's got some big-ass fucking feet. I don't know if anyone's seen the photo. It's fucking crazy. But so the first 2 games they played against the Bucks, they fucking blew them out. It was crazy. But with all the injuries and stuff and how they played the rest of the series, I don't know if they would have been able to win the whole thing. How the Suns are playing, I could still see the Suns beating them. And how how Atlanta's playing right now. Atlanta's winning with 17.3 left. They're up 113-111 right now. But
it's 114, 111. 5 seconds to go
from your TV. But yeah, I can't. I don't know. It would have been a toss up.
Well, that goes on to my next question. Too bad for KD. He committed to Team USA, and we'll talk about that later on the show. So he's clearly looking forward to getting right back into it. So my next question is: Does Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks have a chance of beating the Milwaukee Bucks and going on to the finals? Are we witnessing a Cinderella story, as you say it? And if they do move on, do they have a chance to win? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. With how fucking Clint Capella and John Collins are playing right now, if they can do what they're doing against the Bucks in this first game, what I've been witnessing all night, you never know. It might be they could do it.
Suzio, you got anything to add on that?
I see them winning over the Bucks.
You think they're going to win the series and go to the finals?
Yeah, I see them going to the finals. I see them like reigniting Atlanta, going on and being a hell of a ESPN documentary, but not winning it.
I agree with you in saying that'll be hell of a documentary, but I don't think they win the series. As I was saying before the show even started, I do think Milwaukee Bucks win the series. Trae Young can't play like this every night. It's just not. It's not possible.
He's been balling out the whole playoffs.
He's been balling off the whole playoffs, but he's not going to average 40-something points, 50-something points a night to win the series. And you need him to do that to beat Giannis and Middleton and these Milwaukee Bucks. But I do think the Bucks will win in 5 at the latest.
Clint Capella and John Collins are eating rebounds tonight and how they're playing. If they can continue to play like this, I can see them beating the Bucks.
And we'll see, man. And, time will tell. We'll definitely continue on and get back into the series. I would like to see the Suns and the Hawks both make the finals. I do think that would be an entertaining finals. But DeAndre Ayton will shut down John Collins and Clint Capella. That man's a monster, and nobody's fucking stopping him. Let's go on to the next topic, which is going to be the NBA Finals prediction. So who do you guys have at this Final Four going to the finals for the East and the West, and then who wins? El Susi, I'll start with you, bro.
I'm on a small side question.
Oh, what's up, man?
What do you think Atlanta needs to get them to where they need to be?
They need that 6th man. They have the starting 5. They just don't have the bench.
All right. I see Atlanta and the Suns.
Okay. Atlanta and the Suns?
Mm-hmm.
And who wins the championship out of those 2?
Phoenix, baby.
There we go. That's all I wanted to hear. All right, Bobby, what you got for me, man? Let me hear it.
Same thing. Completely agree.
So you got Atlanta and the Suns. Suns winning it all.
Yep.
I fucking love it. Like I said, I would love to see that matchup, but I do think it's going to be Phoenix versus Milwaukee. And I do think Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and DeAndre Ayton get that championship because there's nobody right now in the rest of the playoffs who can stop DeAndre Ayton in the paint. I don't care who's down there. It's not going to happen. And I'm so excited to see that team because they're so young finally get their shine. It's a beautiful fucking thing. All right, let's go on. Brad Stevens, who became president of basketball operations earlier in the month, finally made the first move of the offseason for the team and of the league. After only 2 weeks of being promoted, Brad Stevens traded away Kemba Walker, the 16th pick in this year's draft, and a 2025 second-round pick to the Thunder for the return of Big Al Horford, 7-foot center Morris Brown. What do you guys think about this?
I think it's great. They get salary relief, cap flexibility, cheap young prospect at center that's on contract for a couple of years. They get someone that wants to play in Boston in Al Horford, who says he's wanted to come back.
You got to remember, Al Horford's the one who wanted out to begin with.
Correct.
Well, he wants to
say
come
whatever
back.
he wants, but he's the one who wanted out. His sisters and his family, there was problems in the Garden. Like, there was reasons why he wanted to leave. I don't know if people remember this or they forget this, or if you even knew about this, Lord Fish, but his family had problems with Celtics fans. That's one of the reasons they want out.
Yep.
All right. Last but not least, they got rid of a disgruntled Kemba, who's had issues this season that kind of came out recently.
What's funny is there's a lot of false reports, and I'm going to defend Kemba because Brad Stevens, Danny Ainge, numerous reports stating there's a report out there saying that Kemba wasn't doing any of the rehab workouts that they recommended. But Brad Stevens, Danny Ainge, I had Kemba on my fantasy team. I was constantly looking at Kemba's updates and all of his news reports. Everybody always said Kemba's doing everything right. He's playing it smart, and he's doing everything that they ask of him. So for this report to come out, I find very disrespectful. I think it's bullshit. And I don't know why anybody would try to tarnish Kemba's name. He's done nothing but said he wanted to play here, and he always had a smile on his face. So what do you think about that, Susio?
So my thing with Kemba is I don't think it was that he was lazy or he didn't want to participate, none of that. I just think this is the player that he is. I think after all the ailments, all the injuries, this is the player that he is. This isn't college where he was a dominant player because everybody else was a scrub. This is just the player that he is. So to expect more out of him is hard. I think he put his best foot forward. We unfortunately traded more than what we got for him. But hey, at least at the end of it, we did get Al back, which we need. We need that big presence in the center.
For sure.
And I think it's going to be a whole different team. And now we need to get somebody to move that ball around and get everybody in the places where they are going to be successful to hit those shots. Get a point guard now, and we're good.
Well, that's the thing I'm worried about right now is because a lot of people are saying they believe Marcus Smart is going to be our starting point guard moving forward, and I do not want that. Another reason why I'm happy about getting Big Al back is not only do we free up cap space, the contract with Kemba was ridiculous, and then he did have the hurt knee. Al Horford's contract is a little bit more team friendly, so that frees up a lot more cap for us. But we got Morris Brown. I do think we do trade Al Horford. I don't think Al Horford plays for the Celtics this season.
Really?
I do want to shout this out, though. Lord Fish is my witness, and if you paid attention to our past episodes, if you're listening now, I didn't call this trade. I said exactly what was going to happen. I said we were going to trade to OKC, Kemba Walker, and get Al Horford in return. I didn't know about the draft picks. I'm surprised we couldn't get a first round out of him, but we did get 1 year removed from UCLA Morris Brown, who I am very fucking excited about. This guy is a beast. But yeah, like I said, I don't think Al Horford plays for the Celtics this season at all. I think he's just another trade piece.
So with that being said, where do you think he would go? Do you have any early predictions on where he's going to get traded to?
So,
since you were right
now,
after the first
that's what's going to move into my next question is what team do you see making a big move? The teams right now that I see making a move are going to be the Indiana Pacers. I can see us making a move for Sabonis because I know Sabonis he's not unhappy, but things aren't going well there. You already brought up the New Orleans Pelicans with Lonzo Ball. I know Zion's very unhappy. I don't think we would get Zion, but I do think a 3-team trade could happen where Brandon Ingram would go to the Miami Heat, Tyler Hero and somebody else would go to the Pelicans, and then we could possibly get Lonzo, and then the Pelicans also get Al Horford because they do need help down in the paint as well. It's just a lot of rumors out there right now going on. Do you guys have any trade rumors, or do you guys see any big moves happening?
Ben Simmons out of Philly. That's about it.
Throw him in a garbage bag. Somebody will pick him up.
Damn, bro. Everybody's saying on my man Benny. Boom, bro. I know both you are going to be damn happy if he plays for the Celtics.
Nope.
No, listen. I'm gonna tell you, as a diehard Celtics fan, I have never ever cheered for another team other than the Sacramento Kings when they had my guy Weber in there. I'm gonna tell you now, I would rather be a Pelicans fan or even a Lakers fan than a Celtics fan as Ben Simmons goes. I will skip that whole part of my life and
Oh,
not
what
be
are
a
you?
fan
The
of the
disrespect is
Celtics.
real right now. Ben Simmons is a great player, man. He just not there offensively.
I've never been a fan of the kid. I think he's always been a bum. He's showing that he's a bum. Yeah, I get all these little stats that everybody's holding on to. But at the end of the day, like
Everybody's holding on to, bro. He basically averages a double-double with assists and rebounds. And then once again, he was number 2 in Defensive Player of the Year voting. He's a top-tier defender.
The most important place in the game happens between the ears, and that's where he's failing. So if you know you're doing a double-double, why are you scared to shoot? If you know you are the guy to your team, why are you afraid to shoot? I don't want that. No, keep it.
There was a joke that I saw come out that this next season he's going to be going play for the Shanghai Sharks with Jimmy Fredette because of how bad he played in the playoffs.
Yep. Hell yeah. Go to China. Go to China. Reinvent yourself in China.
All right, guys. On that note, we're going to move to the next topic. All right. Talk about something, everybody can agree on, which is Team USA and how happy you are that we're about to win gold in Tokyo. So Steph Curry, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Chris Paul, and Donovan Mitchell all turned down the request. Team USA, however, have received commitments from Kevin Durant, James Harden, Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Draymond Green, Bam Adebayo, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Kevin Love. So my question for you guys is, does it look bad for the faces of the NBA when they turn down their invitations?
No.
When I say faces of the NBA, I'm talking about LeBron James and Steph Curry.
No.
Steph Curry has never played for Team USA to win gold. He has played for Team USA for the FIBA tournament, and then he has won gold there, but we're talking about the Olympics.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and it's hard to jump into this one right away. This is the thing. The Olympics isn't what it used to be 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, right? LeBron's already been there. Why is he going to take that opportunity away from someone when he's already been there? That's almost like Carmelo Anthony trying to go on and get another gold medal.
I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I'd much rather see Melo's name on this list than Kevin Love's.
Oh, yeah. I was going to even hit on that one, and thank you for saying that one. I don't know what Kevin Love's thinking of being on any other team that he's like volunteering for. Get paid or go to your therapist. You need a lot of help.
I will say I do think the reason why Kevin Love is playing is it's basically an audition for teams who want to trade for him, because I do know he wants out of Cleveland. He's very unhappy. The way he played, he gave up on a lot of plays last season for Cleveland. It was very disrespectful. Lord Fish, you have a comment?
So I'm going to say this. It was a short off season, a lot of guys, a lot of injuries. Maybe some dudes just need rest. One of the
Kevin
biggest
Love
things
had more rest than almost anybody last year.
I get that. One of the biggest things that came out. So 2 days ago, James Harden said he was committed to playing for Team USA. 3 hours ago, he rescinded that commitment. He's no longer playing for Team USA per Yahoo Sports.
Look at that. I mean, he has the injury, so he has more important things to worry about. And we don't need James Harden because you still have Bradley Beal, you still have KD. The team looks good right now. And that leads to my next question. Does any country stand a chance of stopping us from winning the gold this year? If so, who?
I don't think so. I mean, there's a few top teams out there, Australia, Serbia, Spain, Argentina, Greece, and France, but I don't think anybody could even compete with the U.S.
I understand Spain in the past, because they had Pau Gasol and Marc Gasol, but I'm not worried about them anymore. I did see there was one team, I think it was Nigeria, where they have, OG Anunoby, Precious Achua. They have some people from the NBA. Who else was it? Victor Oladipo. They have some NBA talent on that roster that they can compete with USA. But I still don't think it's enough to put them over the hump. I honestly don't think anybody has a chance to stand next to fucking USA. I don't even think there should be a silver or a bronze. I think all awards should just go to America because, America.
Just said it. The NBA, no one says, man, do I want to go to Siberia? Man, do I want to go to Spain? Everybody says, I want to go to the NBA.
Yeah, facts.
So at the end of the day, they can paint it however they want to. It's still going to be a ridiculously dominant game for them.
I agree with you, man. But all right, that's enough of basketball. We talked enough about that. We're gonna move on to the NFL, and we're gonna start off with something that's different. Carl Nassib, a defensive end for the Oakland Raiders. Oh, I'm sorry, the Las Vegas Raiders. It still trips me out that they're Las Vegas. This man came out on Monday on IG and opened up to the world as a gay NFL player. He also stated at the end of his statement that he was going to donate $100,000 to the Trevor Project. This dude's receiving an outpour of support from fucking everywhere. Roger Goodell, the NFLPA, the owner of the Raiders, the team itself, Coach Gruden, they all came out saying they agree with him and they're proud of him for doing this. He's even, after 24 hours, he's number one in jersey sales across everything, not just the NFL, across everything. The support this man's getting is amazing. So my question for you guys, we're not going to try to, cross the line or be disrespectful. We just want to talk about it. My question for you guys is, it's 2021. Was Carl's decision in video, was it necessary to be had? Did he have to do this? What do you guys think? Lord Fish, I'll start with you.
Absolutely not. It's 2021. I think 99% of America could care less whether you like guys, girls, fucking zebras, whatever you like. 100%. It's great that he came out, but like, if this was 20 years ago, it'd be a whole different story, but it's like you said, it's 2021. It's nice that he's got support, but this isn't the first player that's come out as gay. As we know, Michael Sam did it, but Carl Nassib is a lot better than Michael Sam will ever be. And last year, this dude just signed a 3-year, $25 million contract, 16.75 guaranteed. So he probably feels like he's in a safe space to fucking, say all this stuff. He's third
no
on the
what,
Raiders.
He's getting his money. Even if he gets cut, he's getting his money.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a book and a documentary and all that good stuff. So,
all right, El Suzio, what are your thoughts on this, man?
All right, my email is kelvinx2205@gmail. Send all the hate mail over there, please. Let's start with, since when did it become cool to be gay other than the 80s?
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Is he going to be sponsored by Versace? Is his jersey going to be a Versace jersey? Like, I don't understand.
Do the gay people wear a lot of Versace? Is that a thing?
I see a lot of gay people in Versace. I'm just saying. But anyways, listen, my thought is this, right? We had the Rams player do that. I forgot his name.
Michael Sam.
Yeah. And everybody was just like, oh, cool. And I think when he did it, it was more controversial. When he did it, 100%. It was more necessary. This guy right now is just riding the fad. He's being one of the letter kids. He's being one of the he, them, they. He's riding on the coattail of a fad moment. I think, okay, be proud who you are. That's great. I always encourage people to be who they want to be and who they feel they are. I just think that there's something in the background. There's another narrative that's happening that we don't see yet. And that's the reason he did it. Because there really was no necessity to it. There really was no real, call to the throne of, I am the ultimate gay NFL player. Like, there was no need.
I agree with you 100%. And so, just touch on something before we move forward. You guys bring up Michael Sam. That's my next question, and I'll talk about that in a second. I just want to talk about who Michael Sam was as a player. He played at Mizzou. He was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. If you guys look at who won that trophy, we're talking about NFL Hall of Famers, some of the best defenders we've ever seen. Patrick Peterson, just to name one of them, right? He was highly recruited, and everybody thought he was going to be the next best defender in the league. Before the draft, he actually came out as openly gay. It became such a big deal that you had Oprah Winfrey and all these other people who got involved to talk about this, because once again, he was the first openly gay college athlete that was going to be drafted. His draft stock plummeted. He ended up getting drafted like 249th to the Rams.
And where was he projected originally?
What'd you say?
What was his original projection?
3rd, 4th round, but I will get into personally why his draft stock plummeted if I can take over real quick.
You can go ahead and say it, but we all know it's because he's gay.
No, absolutely not. So I'm not bashing on anybody that's gay. I always feel like, especially when it comes to players, anybody that, commits crimes, does this, does that, your play has to be above whatever problems you bring or baggage or et cetera, right? So Michael Sam was drafted in the 7th round in 2014. He had a disappointing combine. He was too small to play defensive end and was too slow to be a linebacker.
Bobby, what was his stats in preseason?
He had good stats, but let me say this.
He had great stats in preseason. He was actually one of the best defensive rookies in all of preseason.
But I'm going to say this. So after he got waived
combine
and
means nothing,
like that,
man. Don't bring up
they
the combine.
well, check this out. They brought him back for a veteran NFL combine the next year, and he ran a 4.99
on a 40.
Terrible.
Hey,
on a 40.
We're talking about the next year. He already thought his career was over because he actually, after he got cut from the Rams, he got signed by the Cowboys. And the Cowboys didn't give him a chance either. The point is, he had an excellent preseason. He had a couple sacks. He forced a fumble. The guy played great.
Yeah, but he's playing like, third, fourth quarter. He's not playing against the star guys.
Hey, man, you got to do with what you're given, man.
It sounds like he was playing booty.
If you had an opportunity, when you get an opportunity to play, you have to play the best you can. And he put up great numbers.
It wasn't good enough.
Everybody thought he was going to be a stud, regardless of his draft position, regardless of the combine. Tom Brady had a terrible fucking combine. He's the greatest player of all time. I don't want to hear about combine. They get that wrong all the time. They said N'Keal Harry was going to be a once-in-generational talent. DK Metcalf got drafted after him. Don't talk to me about the combine. I fucking hate the combine. It's a waste of time. You're just gonna get me pissed off, bro. The reason Michael Sam fell off is because the dude sucks dick. That's it.
No.
Whoa. You don't know. You don't know who does that.
Your play
100%
has to like Greg Hardy Jr. He always got in trouble. And with Frank Clark, right? Frank Clark, which we'll talk about next. Your play has to be bigger than your baggage.
And once again, during the preseason, he played great.
Yes, but his baggage was so big. Same thing with Colin Kaepernick, right?
The only baggage that was so big is all the nutsacks he's had in his mouth, bro. That's it.
Not being spicy. I think Fish is right. Yeah, if you're gonna go on and have a big bag, you have to have something to back it up. At the end of the day, like I tell the kids that I coach, like you practice the way you play the way you practice. So the combine does have some grit to it. You know what I mean? And if he's looking bad in that, that's probably why they got away from him.
But like you said, he had Oprah Winfrey contacted. He had all these distractions.
It was overwhelming. It was way too much.
So that's what I mean. Your play has to be bigger than your baggage. And clearly his baggage was bigger than his play, even though he had a great preseason.
So enough of Michael Sam, right? So my next question is, do you believe Carl Nassib just became the next Michael Sam?
Negative. No.
You don't think he'll have any problems in the next season or two?
No, especially with all this outcry and output. It's 2021. We're talking about a 7-year difference. And how he did it so nonchalant, there's no way.
I do think he's a solid defender, and I think he's a good player. I don't think he'll have any problems.
And his teammates all love him. There's no, this dude came straight in the NFL. He didn't have teammates. He brought all this shit with him.
Yeah. I don't think we talk about this guy past week 3. We'll be all right.
Yeah, I don't think we'll talk about him in another week or two. I don't think we'll ever talk about him again. He's a solid defender, but he's not that good. It's not like fucking I'm gonna be drafting him in Madden, when the time comes. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
But let's move on to more NFL talk. Some NFL updates. Kansas City Chiefs Frank Clark was recently arrested Sunday night for being in possession of a Uzi. Now, El Sucio, you're one of the proudest gun owners I know in the world, man. What are your thoughts on Mr. Frank Clark getting caught with the Uzi in his passenger seat?
I'll be honest with you. When it comes down to it, I appreciate the Second Amendment. I appreciate the ability as an American to, protect myself from foreign and domestic dangers. But here's the thing. If you're an NFL player, and I'm gonna take a Stephen A. Smith kind of approach on it. If you are a player of any sport and getting money, stay off the weed.
Yep.
Stay away from the guns. Don't be hanging out in the streets. Once you make $1 million, you should no longer want to gangbang. Once you make $1 million, you should no longer want to chill with Joey or Jeff, the one with the one eye that got stabbed by his girlfriend because whatever, she ate his pork chop. You should not want to be a tough guy. And if you want to still live in that kind of lifestyle, you pay somebody to be that idiot to get arrested. You pay that guy $50,000 to have the Uzi on him and say, bye, bitch, you got arrested, not me. I make millions, and I'm going to keep doing that. I think it's stupid. I honestly think it's stupid. And here's the thing. An Uzi is so unnecessary.
Yeah, it is. I agree with
So
you.
unnecessary. It's like me driving with my shotgun in my seat, like a second passenger driver. Like what am I doing driving around with a shotgun for? I got my pistol, my sidearm. I'm good to go. Anything more than that? Oh, let me bring my AK with me. Why not? Like, it's crazy.
Lord Fish, being military, man. What do you think about this?
I think it's crazy. So RA right now, they're trying to dump the gun on someone else. His attorney came out and said it's his bodyguards. But
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all remember, he ended up getting arrested in March of this year.
No, I
at a
remember.
traffic stop. He was caught with 2 loaded guns, and he said they were his buddies. So, nothing's going to come out of this. It's just going to get pushed off. Some guy's going to take the bid. It is what it is.
Hey, man.
His attorneys will be paid for.
He's a former Super Bowl winning champion with the Chiefs not too long ago. He's still one of our league's top defenders. I just hope we still get to see him play. I do love Frank Clark. I think he's a beast. Moving on, we're going to move on to something sad now. This one is unfortunate. We have the Minnesota Vikings rookie defensive tackle Jalen Twyman, who is one of several victims wounded during a shooting in Washington, D.C. on Monday. According to a statement from the team, Twyman was in a vehicle on his way to visit his aunt when he was shot 4 times. His agent, Drew, told ESPN's Adam Schefter he's expected to make a full recovery. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures or any of the highlights from this. It was a very unfortunate accident. Hey, man, it's a sports show. What's your guys' thoughts on this? Do you think it was wrong place, right time, or wrong time?
Negative. He was probably with somebody back in the neighborhood. He was hanging out with the wrong guy, and he got caught in the crossfire.
Damn, bro, really? There was multiple victims. He wasn't the only one.
Yeah, but he was with somebody that had issues with somebody else. I'm not saying this guy had issues.
Somebody hit him up on a drive-by and other people were just unfortunate.
He was probably hanging out with his friend. His friend's probably doing something he's not supposed to do. Somebody from somewhere else saw him and decided to take a shot. He was in the crossfire. He's hanging out with the wrong people.
All right, Lucio, I hear you agreeing with them. What are your thoughts, man?
In my own family, that same situation happened. Unfortunately, I lost a nephew because his homie was the one being shot at, but he got hit. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. When you make the kind of money these players make, let's not be silly and act like it was coincidence. Mm-hmm. When you make anything more than $50,000 a year, okay? What are you doing chilling in the hood? You're not Jay-Z, you're not Nori, you're not Fat Joe, you're not a rapper. You are a player, you're an athlete. Keep your ass home. Why? Because that's how you keep yourself from getting shot. He was with the wrong person, knowing what the guy was all about. He got hit, unfortunately. Like, let's be honest. Like, you know all these guys that make money and go back to the hood trying to be cool. And then this is unfortunate, you know what I mean? And again, as a guy that believes in the Second Amendment, I'm more upset that this gun violence situation and narrative keeps going on and on and on. But to say that he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, I think it's fluff.
I agree with you. I do think this is, just safe publicity, and the team covering him and everybody trying to protect this kid because he's still young. Once again, he's just a rookie.
Mind you, he's a 6th-round pick. So he has no business his business is trying to make the team, not fucking going home to see his aunt in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Fly her in.
All right, guys, let's move on to the next idiot. We have Arizona Cardinals rookie linebacker, another rookie. Zaven Collins was arrested Sunday morning for excessive speeding and reckless driving. He was seen going 76 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone. What are your thoughts on this?
Playing Grand Theft Auto in real life.
No worries, bro. You just signed a 4-year, $14 million deal, and it's just.
And I know he's happy, bro. 4 years, $14 million, but I mean, there's no reason. You're a professional athlete now. Your name's gonna get out there. You can't get away with these speeding tickets anymore. Like you think 76 miles per hour in the 35, that's really fast because
that's fucking crazy.
Those are real slow areas. That's probably like Grandma Street or something. You know what I'm saying?
Has anyone seen his mugshot? Because I have, and it looks like he was fucked up on something in it. I don't know if they because TMZ, Collins hasn't made a comment, the Cardinals haven't made a comment, and the police department hasn't made a comment. So I think there's a little bit more to it. Maybe he was, drinking something he shouldn't have. He was just joyriding, but I'm sure we'll hear.
That's what it was. He was doing meth. with Nicole.
I hope he wasn't. Moving on, Alvin Kamara is now working for NASCAR. The New Orleans Saints running back was named NASCAR's first ever growth and engagement advisor on Sunday. Him recently becoming a fan over a year ago is genuinely excited for his new role and looks forward to helping bring more fans into the sport. Michael Jordan has a NASCAR team. Now Alvin Kamara. You have all these other athletes coming into the sport, trying to get it more popular. I know a lot of NASCAR fans. I never really understood it. But what do you guys think about Alvin Kamara putting his foot in NASCAR? Now, I will say this is not his first business venture with NASCAR. He became a sponsor with his shop in Florida last year. So this isn't his first thing, but now he's officially part of the team. Lord Fish, what you got for me?
So I love this. This dude's only 25, but it proves there's a life after football. He's setting himself up for success.
I agree with you.
I've been to the NASCAR track up in New Hampshire. It was like a 500 lap race. I only stayed for 50. Most boring sports experience of my life. Never do it again, My
stepdad took me as a kid and I never went back. I didn't get it. I don't understand, dude.
I'm happy for this dude. He's got a job after football.
That's a great way of looking at it. You're right. He's a smart young guy, and the fact that he's able to do this while playing in the NFL, and I think it's amazing because he's gonna make good money on both sides of the field. El Sucio, what are your thoughts, man?
I just think it's funny. I must be the only car nut in it because I'm like, what? It's definitely a sport. It's like when people say soccer's not a sport, like it's not. You know what I mean?
Yo, I don't know what your beef is with soccer, bro. But it's definitely a sport. It's more of a sport than NASCAR.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Everybody who's watching this in the comments, please tear this man apart. He believes NASCAR is a sport over soccer. He does not take soccer seriously at all. Ever since I've known him, he's hated soccer.
Yeah, that's fine. That's just my thing. But look, I think it's funny how like NASCAR is getting slowly more popular. And it's good because there's so many abandoned tracks around that, like, it being more popular, maybe they get revamped. You know what I mean? To me, going to the track isn't about the actual race. Yeah, it is, winning, losing, who's out there, right? To me, at least, it's a consistent full tailgate. You go for what's around, you go for the event, you go for the sponsorships, you go to see what you can get for free and probably have a cool story. You know what I mean? For the people that think that, like, oh, they're just going there in a circle, left. After a while, like your body, you feel kind of fucked up behind that wheel. So there's a lot that they go through in there, especially when it's those hot days. But I just think it's cool for Kamara to now go on and do something that's out of the normal. He didn't get a chicken spot. Great for him. He didn't do a barbershop. Great for him. He didn't try to do a closing line like so many other people. He went and said, NASCAR, I throw a little bit of money at it, it's going to throw some back. It's smart.
I do think it's smart. I think it's awesome, too, because once again, he became a fan of the sport over a year ago. And now he's fully invested to where he was a sponsor last year and now he's working and he has a brand new position created by NASCAR. And with him behind the helm, you have an NFL player, who's very widely popular, spreading the word of NASCAR. I think he will bring a lot more fans into it. I mean, think about it. We're talking about NASCAR right now just because of him. So that's crazy to think about.
Here's my question, though. Do you think this was a setup between the NFL and NASCAR?
No. Part of the huge reason why this is going on, he's a huge supporter of Bubba Wallace. Yep. He was at a lot of Bubba's races last year. And once again, he's just genuinely a fan to where he wanted to get in. I wouldn't be surprised if when he is officially done with the NFL, if he had his own NASCAR team, because once again, he has his own restaurants down in Florida, where he can sponsor them. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm excited for him. Before we move on to the next topic, I just want to talk about one thing. We just talked about all the fuck ups from the NFL. I want to talk about a fuck up from the NBA. Alex Caruso, LA Lakers player, just arrested for bringing a grinder to the airport and having weed in it. What do you guys think about this idiot? Because this isn't his first time getting arrested.
He looks like he's 50 years old. That's about it. Needs to get a fucking toupee or something. But
he's a cancer.
I mean, you would think with all that money, he would do something with that hair.
Mm-hmm. I think it was dumb of him to overlook at that shit. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. You know when your grinder's in your bag. You knew it was there. You thought you were slick. I mean, but it's weed though. Let's not act like it's heroin and shit.
Yeah, no, it's not that big a deal. It's just funny that shortly after you lose, this dude's seen going back to his old college campus where he got arrested for having up to 2 ounces, and now he gets caught with a grinder. So it's like same dude, like he hasn't learned anything.
Yeah, he's consistent.
What you got, Lord?
Real quick, I want to talk about 3 things. So Lamar Jackson, he's negotiating a contract that is supposed to happen before training camp with his manager, his mummy, no agent. We got Tight End University, 3-day summit. Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry are both going to be there. Basically, they're going to chill, train, practice, and pick each other's brains. And then the last thing I got is Eli Manning.
Hold on. Before we talk about Eli and the Giants, which, by the way, fuck them. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to Tight End University. You know who wasn't invited to Tight End University?
Tim Tebow, because of his
fucking Tebow.
That's fine.
Didn't you buy his jersey?
I did.
Are you upset that your boy Tim Tebow isn't invited to Tight End University?
Absolutely not. He's got his own foundation. He can do whatever he wants. He's married to
Did you see
Miss
George
Universe.
Kittle's comments on why he couldn't invite Tim Tebow?
Because he doesn't have the experience.
He's really married to a Miss Universe?
Yes, 2017. She's from South Africa.
Yeah, that's why Tim Tebow looks so jacked now, bro. He's finally gotten some pussy. Remember, he was a virgin before he got married. Hallelujah.
Yep.
I thought he was a Letterman.
No, but George Kittle came out and said, he said, I can't invite the backup tight end to the Giants, who's actually a tight end, and then invite Tim Tebow, who just became a tight end. Like, it doesn't work like that. So I respected his comments and then going public. But him and Greg Olsen did say that in the future, if he does well and he does officially become a tight end, they still don't look at him as an official tight end. They will invite him in the future. So my question for you, Mr. Fish, is do you see Tim Tebow being eligible for Tight End University next year?
I'm more focused on him making the team this year, making the 53-man roster.
You bought his jersey.
Yes.
Do you think he will make it to Tight End University?
I will stand by Tim Tebow. He will go to Tight End University next year.
Lucio, what do you think about this joke?
Injured by week 4. I'm predicting a lot of misreads, 2 or 3 fumbles, 1 wildcat.
Disrespectful.
The wildcat's gonna be the best part of his game because he runs.
Tim Tebow's got the Lord on his side. He's gonna have a great season.
I'm curious to see, man. We're gonna be doing a Angry Fans Fantasy Football, edition, and I'm very curious to see if Lord Fish drafts Tim Tebow to be a tight end on his team. So we will see that happen.
Man.
All right, go ahead. Continue what you're gonna say about Eli, man.
Real quick, the Giants will retire his number 10 jersey, and he'll be inducted in the Giants Ring of Honor during a halftime ceremony against the Falcons on September 26th. Eli is rejoining the Giants in a business operations and fan engagement role. I don't think they should have retired this dude's jersey. I really don't think a lot of teams should retire jerseys. The only jersey that should be retired is fucking Tom Brady's in New England.
Well, no. I mean, Lawrence Taylor's jersey should be retired. Don't say that. There's a lot of people whose jersey should be retired, but Eli did do the impossible, and an 8-8 team winning a Super Bowl.
9-7
he had some of the best plays we've ever seen in NFL history. One being the David Tyree catch, which he had nothing to do with. He just got away and was able to create the throw. And then that second Super Bowl where he got out of Teddy Bruschi's clutch. He was able to throw the ball down the sideline in between 2 Patriots defenders to make the greatest throw I've ever seen. And I will give him that throw. Greatest throw I've ever seen, besides fucking what Pat Mahomes is doing now. I hate Eli Manning. I don't think he should be a Hall of Fame quarterback, but he will become one. Kudos to him, man. I know they had a bad breakup, but they're still going to suck, so who cares? But all right, let's move on to the next topic. We're going to go into baseball now, and we're going to talk more about what I have here. But the MLB is cracking down on illegal substances. Recently, the MLB made a new rule starting June 21st, which just was 2 days ago, which allows umps to check pitchers for any illegal substance at any point in time in the game. And on Monday, during the first game of the day, Mets versus Braves, the first person they checked was Cy Young Award winner Jacob deGrom. He was stopped coming off the mound after retiring the side order in the first inning. He was quoted saying that they asked for his glove, his hat, his belt, and then he laughed as they did it and asked what was up as they went on their way. What are your guys' thoughts on this, man? We're going to talk more about what other people's comments were, but for them to go after a Cy Young Award winner, they're going after everybody, by the way. But like, how do you think they handled it the first game up?
Well, me personally, as like a person that loves the game, and I really do, like, baseball is like my number one sport, other than basketball. I think they did it completely the wrong way. They're going about everything the wrong way. There's other things that are more important to the game and to longevity of the game. And this is just a sad, quick way to show some kind of force and strength. But it's sad. It's stupid. It really is. In my honest opinion, let the kids play. Let them actually have some tackiness, because there's nothing harder than hitting a round ball with a cylinder stick. You still have to, as a hitter, go on and read the pitch in less than a ninth of a second. There's still a lot of factors that small tackiness or stickiness doesn't really affect. And I think that it will make the sport better. And they can't go on, at least in my opinion, the major leagues can't go on and complain, because they themselves nerfed the game. They didn't like all the home runs last year, so they did consistently across the board to all the balls what they do in Colorado, which is weigh them down with humidifiers to try to make the infield play more exciting. So why not give these guys the ability to have more control on a ball that's 80, 90 miles an hour? And now if someone goes on and beams somebody, hey, you really were trying to hit them, because you got some sticky stuff on your hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it would make the game more exciting. And the way they're going about it is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
I agree with you 100%. And we have comments from Dusty Baker, manager of the Houston Astros, who, by the way, if any team can bat right now besides the Red Sox, the Houston Astros are just on fucking fire. But that's neither here nor there. But he came out and made a comment.
Probably cheating.
Yeah.
He came out and made a comment and was quoted saying that, "I think I've seen everything in baseball. This is definitely something new." Now, mind you, he played 19 seasons as a player and is now in his 24th season as a manager. So the guy clearly knows what he's talking about. He said in the past, when people use substances, people knew they weren't allowed, but no one made a fuss about it. And that's kind of going to what you were just saying. Like, who cares? It makes the game more exciting. I think it's funny when you see replays of the umps going up to somebody like, Chapman, one of your boys on the fucking Yankees, and he got that shit pine tar in his fucking neck or in his ear or some stupid shit. Who was it? Was it Cologne where he had the peanut butter, bro? Remember that shit? Yep. That was fucking hilarious.
Well, Sergio Gomez yesterday, when they searched him, he almost went down to his boxers. He threw his hat, he took off his belt, unbuckled, and unzipped his pants, was ready to take off his shirt. Like, go check everything. Like, they're just getting ridiculous.
Yeah, people were pissed off, man. He wasn't the only one. Max Scherzer was checked multiple times through the first 4 innings last night's game. And every single time, he took off his hat. He kept trying to take off his belt. They said, no, you don't have to. He kept throwing up his hat and his glove, like, check it. He didn't care. It got to a point where the other team's manager called him out and asked him to check again because he kept slicking back his hair. And they said his reason for that is, he said, I've watched so much film on him. We played him for so many years that I've never seen him do that. So I just wanted to check him out because I didn't trust him. It got to the point where after he got off the mound in the 4th, after the 7th, he legit walked off and stared him down to where the manager got thrown out for wanting to fight him. That's how mad they were at each other. It was fucking hilarious. So I will say the hostility that we're getting from this is making it more exciting, but I do think it takes away from the sport and the players. Clayton Kershaw came out and made a comment and said that if managers are going to call out players for suspicion and then they get it wrong, there should be some kind of punishment. Now, I do agree with this. I know I brought this up to both you guys to think about this all day so we can come up with something that, makes sense. Maybe we can sell it to the MLB, make some money off it. Who knows? In the NFL, if a coach makes a challenge, a timeout's taken away. In MLB, there is no timeouts. What can possibly happen in baseball that will impact the team? Kelvin, you came up with an idea, and I told it to Lord Fish already that, if a manager gets it wrong, then the team, because they're going up to bat next, they should automatically start off with a runner on first. I think that's genius, man. Were you able to come up with anything else or think of anything else, or do you think that's the best thing that should happen?
No, there's another one. Analytics, to me, is the worst thing that's ever happened to the game. So if you get the call wrong or whatever, they don't find anything. They should be able to go on And when, you know how they do shifts?
Yeah.
Like they used to on David Ortiz all the time. Hey, you know what? You can't do a shift. This inning, this set of hitters coming up, you can't do a shift. So now it takes analytics off the table and now forces those players to react to certain plays.
I agree with you. I think that would be a good move. I do still like your first idea that you told me about. They automatically get a runner on first, but I do think that's also puts people at a disadvantage. So an idea that I came up with is you're no longer allowed to have a pinch hitter in the game. You just lost your ability to have a pinch hitter. It's something small and subtle, but if you're in the NL and you know your pitcher has to go up to bat, you're fucked. But that doesn't really affect the AL. So I do think there should be a different rule for each side. What'd you say?
You have it the other way around. In the American League, it's the most effective because you take the DH out of play, forcing the pitcher, which in the American League, they usually don't practice hitting.
Yeah, of course.
The pitchers kind of sometimes hit okay, but it would take the DH out. That's crazy.
That would be fucked up if they kept it like that and then the AL was forced to take out the DH and then pitchers were forced to bat. That would be pretty fucking entertaining. And I do think that would be a good rule change. Lord Fish, you got anything to add on this? You think there's a good punishment out there for this?
So I'm just going to go over the whole thing real quick. So everyone asks, like, why is the MLB doing this? You know, we're already into the season. Supposedly the MLB's response was they wanted to collect data before they went into this. So far, there's been 6 no-hitters this year. Batting averages are at an all-time low at 236. It's the 4th consecutive year strikeouts are outpacing hits. I like the whole idea, getting an extra base runner if, you know, the manager calls out the guy and he's wrong. But what do you do if it's the umpire that calls out the guy and catches him?
That's a good point. He did his fucking job.
One of the biggest things that's come from this, if someone does get caught, they get ejected and then they're suspended for 10 days with pay, and the team cannot replace the player on the roster. They can't put somebody else in the rotation. So the rest of the pitchers get less rest. You know, the team gets fucked. So I'll be interested. They can't do anything. They can't replace it.
Wow, that does affect a lot. That throws off your whole week, your whole month.
And the biggest thing is repeat offenders will be subjected to progressive punishment. I don't know what the scale is going to be, but as of right now, first-time offenses, you're ejected and you're suspended for 10 days with pay.
The most shameful part of this, to me, in my opinion, that baseball is America's pastime, right? Like, let's be honest. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. But to me, right, as America's pastime, how do I put it? It's a shame that we're doing this to the game, and the game has always had some form of cheating. You have the Sox, the White Sox that cheated their way into a World Series. The Astros. You had what's his name? Jose Canseco, Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds cheat their way into Hall of Fame or into fame in general, because Barry Bonds never make it into the Hall of Fame. There's always been cheating in baseball in some sort of way, and they've always known it because of the simple fact that it's a brotherhood, unwritten rule. You just go about the game for what it is. But now this is being the big ordeal. They knew Sosa was cheating. Canseco was cheating. McGwire was cheating. Bonds. They have a list of 90 players cheating. Let these guys use HGH. Let these guys use whatever tacky material. Let them play.
It makes corking their bats.
Yeah. No. That's the one I'll say don't do. Corking a bat's dangerous. It's stupid. It makes a poor hitter actually look good. But if you can extend a player's ability with HGH, let's say Ken Griffey, we got another 5 years out of him. Or, Cal Ripken. If you can go on and take a Randy Johnson and give him still that grip of the ball, you're making the game more fun. And they're making such a big deal out of this small thing when in the past there were so many other things that were worse. And they let it ride because it was the unwritten rule and you don't rat each other out as ball players. Now everybody's ratting each other out. Everybody got a podcast. Everybody got an opinion. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
It's true, man. It's true. But all right, we're going to move on. Before we get to our end of the day thoughts, I just want to bring up, a couple prospects. This kid, Wander Franco, I watched him get his major league debut yesterday against the Red Sox, and he played fucking amazing. He had 4 at-bats. He had 2 hits, bringing in 3 ribbies. It was very impressive, and he's still so young. So it's very impressive to see somebody like that. I felt like he was playing MLB The Show yesterday. Just rode to the show. Like, he got his big chance, and he had that shit on rookie. He was putting in work. But I also want to talk about the best players in baseball right now. And El Susi, I was curious to get your thoughts on this. Is Shohei Ohtani the best player in baseball right now?
Someone actually asked me that the other day. I want to say no, but he's the most entertaining. He's what the game needs, and he's the most dangerous. Because when you think about it, he really haven't had a crazy power bat and pitcher at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Did you see his stat line for the last 7 games? Like what this guy's been doing right now? You're talking about home run. He pitches, gets 7 Ks in the win. Then he goes back out again. Home run. The guy is just fucking incredible right now. And it's like he's playing the show in real life.
I'll say that the real ones that should get the applause, the attaboy, is the office of Anaheim. The Anaheim Angels should all get bonuses in the 6 figures. Even the guy that throws out their garbage, because they've been able to, even though they're in a big market, which is LA, as a small market team in reality, because they've never been a crazy power team, they've been able to hold down Trout and him, and that's their team. And like you said, just him hitting and being as dominant as he is on the mound, that's all they need. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'll say this, the most talented player right now, I think, is Tatis from the Padres.
I can't disagree with you. He's very good too. I know right now everybody says they're 1A, 1B. But I have to give it to Shohei Ohtani just because the man just playing incredible. Lord Fish, you got anything to add?
What about Vladimir Guerrero Jr.?
Oh,
great batting average, leading in home runs, everything.
Of course, he's up there, but I mean, I'm not going to put anybody over Mookie Betts. To me, Mookie Betts is the best player in baseball. But that's
Stop
just my opinion.
You're doing drugs right now. Stop it.
he's in the top 5 for every category of hitting right now.
Yeah, he's definitely up there, and he has a chance to win an MVP for sure. There's still a lot of baseball left to be played. We're still early in the season. But I just think if Shohei Ohtani keeps playing the way he is, there's no way this dude doesn't win an MVP. It's just incredible.
Yeah. No, he should. He should honestly win MVP because he is the most valuable player to the Angels, and he's making them relevant.
100% agree with that. Now, just a side question. I just want to ask both of you, what can baseball do to make it more exciting, especially with this tire fire that we're watching with this ump bullshit? What can they do right now?
So I'll start off with this. I think it happened last year that they were moving the game quicker. They were making the game quicker. I forget how. I think it was less time in between pitches and everybody was on a clock and stuff. And that's what really, baseball used to be fucking super long and you just sit there. And now it's quicker pace. So I think that's one good thing the MLB has done.
Yeah, they're actually doing 20 seconds between pitches in the minor leagues to try to push it into the majors. That does move a game quicker. The other day I went to a game and I was there an hour and a half and I was like, holy shit, that did go quick. I honestly think, like I said before, let the kids play, give them their tackiness so the ball moves all crazy while it's being pitched, and let them use HGH to recover. They play a lot of games in between with no rest. I think that will help out the game so that people are more reactional to the ball and the ball's getting moved around in one way or another, whether it's being pitched or hit.
I like that. I do think steroids should be allowed. I think pine tar should be allowed.
Not steroids.
No. I think it all should be allowed. Let them do whatever the fuck they want. Because no matter what, even if you're all juiced up, you still got to have the skill and the talent to hit that ball.
See, that's a whole nother conversation, though. Because you're going to have guys that don't want to take that shit, and then you're going to have guys that want to take that shit.
And there's a lot of guys that don't take it that are incredible baseball players. Just like a lot of the guys we just talked about tonight.
Well, a lot of the people we talked tonight have juiced in one way or another. Let me tell you. No one's without a sin, okay? I even think Mariano Rivera, the biggest religious person I've ever seen on the mound, probably did a little, what do you call it, circuits or whatever of steroids. You never know.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's enough of that. We're going to go ahead and end the show, but before we do, we're going to get our end-of-day thoughts. Lord Fish, I'll start with you, man. What do you want to say to us? Okay,
real quick, BKFC 18, 4 championship fights coming up this Saturday, June 26th at the Hard Rock Casino, Hollywood, Florida. It's the 175, 205, 155, and heavyweight championship. Biggest card they've ever had. They've had a lot of guys.
Is the Baboon fighting?
He is. He's defending his title against a guy from England, but Bare Knuckle it's come up again. It's become relevant again. Jorge Masvidal just had his Game Bread FC. That's bare knuckle MMA. It's great. It's entertaining. The last card I watched, there was 10 fights, 10 stoppages. You can't beat it. It's made for the fans.
I love it. I love it. El Sucio, you got something for us?
Fish, Afro, thank you guys for having me. I do appreciate it. It's been a while. I would say, check for toilet paper, let the kids play, and stay safe, man.
All right, I appreciate that. My final thought is the NBA draft lottery was last night, and we got to see who gets the top picks in the drafts. You had the Detroit Pistons win the number 1 pick. So Cade Cunningham is definitely going to Detroit. They lucked out. They won huge on that unless Detroit trades it. I'm very excited to see what happens. But just to round off the top 5 picks, you have the Detroit Pistons at number 1, Houston Rockets at number 2, Cleveland Cavaliers at 3, Raptors at 4, and Orlando Magic at 5. And I will say the Warriors did win out. They have 2 top 15 picks at number 7 and 14. So things are exciting right now for the NBA, and I do expect to see major trades happening, big moves happening. Things should be entertaining as fuck. But on that note, I'm going to say peace. And thank you guys for joining me tonight.